it's Bob Mason from FX Empire and welcome to the daily crypto tech review of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin and Ripple's XRP. We'll be looking at the MACDs, the moving averages and the daily support, resistance and pivot levels. It is Thursday the 24th of September. Jumping straight into Bitcoin against the US dollar, looking at the hourly candlesticks here. It's a relatively positive start to the morning after an early pullback. Going to need to see Bitcoin avoid a fallback through the pivot at 10,323 to support and run at the first major resistance level, sitting at 10,495. Going to need to see an extended rally through the morning, however, for Bitcoin to target the first major resistance level. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and resistance at 10,500 to pin Bitcoin back. In the event of breakout, could see Bitcoin target 10,600 levels before any pullback. Should fall well short of the second major resistance level, sitting at 10,726. Fallback through the pivot would bring the first major support level sitting at 10,092 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Bitcoin should avoid sub 10,000s and the second major support level is at 9,920. Looking at the MACDs, we're seeing a slight narrowing of the bearish histograms, supportive of the early move northwards. Looking at the EMAs, however, we are seeing the 50 pull back from the 100 and the 200, suggestive of another bearish morning ahead. So key through the early part of the day, avoid a fall through the pivot 10,323, move back through to 10,400 to then target that first major resistance level. Failure to break through 10,500 would likely put some pressure on Bitcoin later on the day, however. Moving across to Ethereum against the US dollar, also positive start to the morning. Going to need to see US break through the pivot, however, at 326.09 to support a run at the first major resistance level, staying at 339.18. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Ethereum to break back through to 330 levels, however. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level to pin Ethereum back. In the event of a breakout, could see Ethereum target 350 before any pullback. Should fall well short of the second major resistance level, sitting at 357.33. Failure to break through the pivot will bring the first major support level, sitting at 307.54 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ethereum should avoid sub 300s and the second major support level sitting at 294.45. Looking at the MACD, we're seeing a slight narrowing of the bearish histogram. Nothing conclusive yet to suggest a bullish morning ahead. Looking at the EMAs, however, we're seeing the 50 EMA pull back from the 100 and the 200, suggestive of further downside through the morning. So key through the early part of the day would be for Ethereum to break through that pivot level and back through to 330s to target the first major resistance level. Failure to do that, and you're going to see a fallback through the morning low 316.65 to bring that first major support level into play. Moving across to Litecoin against the US dollar. Slightly bearish start to the morning here. Going to see Litecoin avoid a fallback through the pivot at 43.43 to target the first major resistance level sitting at 44.61. Going to need to see a broad-based crypto rally on the day, however, for Litecoin to break back through to 44 levels. So barring extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level to pin Litecoin back from 45 levels. In the event of breakout, expect 45 levels to come into play, but we should see Litecoin fall well short of the second major resistance level, sitting at 46.31. Fallback through the pivot would bring the first major support level sitting at 41.73 into play. Barring an extended sell-off through the day, Litecoin should avoid sub 40s. Second major support level sitting at 40.55 should limit any downside. Looking at the MACDs, we're seeing a narrowing of the bearish histograms, supportive of a possible move northwards. Looking at the EMAs, we are seeing the 50 flatten slightly on the 100 and the 200, but nothing conclusive. So key through the morning, avoid a pullback through the pivot, break back through to 44 levels to then bring the major resistance levels into play. Failure to do that, and you're going to see sub 42s Finally, looking at Ripple's XRP against the US dollar. Positive start to the morning. Going to need to see Ripple's XRP break through the pivot, however, at 0.2256 to target the first major resistance level, 0.2307. Going to need to see an extended rally through the morning, however, for Ripple's XRP to break back through to 0.2250 levels. So barring extended rally on the day, expect resistance at 0.23 and that first major resistance level to cap any upside. Failure to move through that pivot level will bring the first major support level sitting at 0.2162 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ripple's XRP should avoid the second major support level sitting at 0.2112 and sub 0.21 levels on the day. Looking at the MACD, we're seeing a slight narrowing of the bearish histograms, but not enough to suggest a bullish morning ahead. Looking at the EMAs, the 50 is pulling back from the 100 and the 200, suggestive of a bearish day ahead. So key through the early part of the day, break back through to 0.2250 levels and that pivot level to then target 0.23 levels. Failure to do that and expect sub 0.22s and that first major support level to come into play.